You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Heat fans? A season on the brink, without a doubt, man. They are on life support right now. Dr. Strong is what they call it in the mental institutions. Send them all, the doctors, the nurses, everyone with a lab coat on, anyone in a pair of scrubs, and now I guess Crocs, to help resuscitate the Miami Heat, to bring them back to life, because that's what they need right now. What's up again, Heat fans? Welcome to your Locked On Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Greasehopper. Call me Grease. Here after every single Miami Heat game, which literally actually right now might be a single Miami Heat game. Why? Because the Boston Celtics took care of business again, like they always seem to do in Miami. Not seem to do, like they always do, especially now in Miami. So it's a tough night for the Miami Heat, right? They lose again, blowout loss to the Boston Celtics. And once again, the Miami Heat just couldn't get it done offensively. They couldn't throw the ball in the bay tonight. Their shooting was cold from beyond the arc again, and it just led to a disastrous performance for Miami in this game. And look, when I say disastrous performance, I want to be very clear about something. And this game, 102-88, the final, the Heat fall down 3-1 in the Eastern Conference opening round series against the C's. Jayson Tatum, ice cold. Jaylen Brown, ice cold. Didn't matter. Derrick White went off. Playoff career high. Overall career high, 38 points. He had 36 for the Spurs against the Nuggets in 2019. Derrick White went off for the Celtics tonight. A ton of three-pointers, carrying them offensively. The Heat played with great effort tonight, like they always do, right? The Heat were game from the tip. They hit 2 of their first 4 3-pointers, and you start thinking, hey, maybe this team is going to be hot tonight from beyond the arc. They shot 53.5% from 3 in game 2 when they stole that one in Boston, coming off that incredible fourth quarter when they were getting blown out in game 1. It carried over into game 2. They thought they could put it in the suitcases, put it on a plane, and bring it down to South Beach. Did not work for the Heat, because in the past 2 games, they've shot under 25% from 3. You have no chance. Absolutely no chance if you're Miami in that situation. They're outgunned. They're undermanned. The Celtics are bigger. They're stronger. They're out rebounding them by 10 a game. Celtics are winning the turnover battle, the fast break points, the free throws. Every element of the game, Miami getting scorched by Boston. And it's just a better team. Without Jimmy Butler, even with him, I think, but without Jimmy Butler, there's no chance for the Celtics to not move past the Heat into the next round. And when I think about the Miami Heat season, there were stretches when Butler didn't play too well. Maybe that leg was, kind of given out a little bit throughout the season. And you never know with injuries how long they've been kind of festering and brewing beneath the surface. But it really is a shame when you lose a series like this. It's the Heat. It's the Celtics. Everything about it is amazing for the NBA, for the fans, for the Heat, for the Celtics themselves. And then there's no Jimmy Butler. It's part of the game, right? Look at Joel Embiid hobbling right now for the 76ers in Philly. They're probably going to get bounced by the Knicks tomorrow, I'm guessing. And, it's just part of the game. And Jimmy Butler and the Heat have had some great playoff runs, but not this year, as Jimmy B is unable to answer the call. And it happened in the first play-in game in Philadelphia. And just think back, right? How different would this have been? Jimmy doesn't get hurt. They're beating Philly that night. You have to think they win that game, and they're already in playing the Knicks right now. And how much different would it be for the Miami Heat to not have to face Brown and Tatum and the Celtics and, deal with all the stuff that they do night in and night out. And I really hope that the Heat can get something going and get it together for game number 5 in Boston. Where did that go? There it is. Okay, guys, sorry about that. There it is. I don't know where that one went. But yeah, it is something that they really have to look out for, right? The Miami Heat have to be, you're going into Boston for game 5, and you know that you have nothing to lose, right? You got nothing to lose. You're not going to be complacent. You're going to give full effort. You're going to go everything, full on in that game, right, for Miami. But when you look ahead for this Heat team and you think about Jaquez Jr. and some of the other young players, the Pac-12 Player of the Year at UCLA, some of the other younger players they have, and we'll get to that after the final game, because we don't want to put the postscript and put them in the ground just yet. But their season is on the brink. Another blowout loss at home to the Celtics. The only chance they had was to shoot crazy from 3, and they were not able to do it. Miami's lost 6 straight home playoff games. You know what I'm saying? And the Celtics right now have won that many in a row in Miami in the playoffs. So that is something that's amazing too. The Celtics are 11-3 in their last 14 road playoff games. Ironically, the Heat seem to play better in Boston, and the numbers have backed that up over the last couple of playoff series with the Celtics, including last year when they won Game 7 there after the Celtics destroyed them in Miami to force that Game 7, being down 3-1 in that series. So when I think about this Celtics team, they have gotten complacent at key times in the past, but all they've done is win since Tatum and Brown have gotten there, man. That duo is unbelievable. They're both all NBA, somewhere between those first and third teams every year. And this year they were number 1 in offense, number 2 on defense, the largest margin of victory, plus 11.5 points a game. This seems to be their year of destiny. And with the Nuggets, Jamal Murray's banged up right now against the Lakers. And, Jokic has gotten into some foul trouble. And we'll see. I mean, we're a long way away. I mean, this is definitely, the playoffs are a sprint, but if it were a sprint, it's the 400 meters. Ask anybody. Dan O'Brien, Olympic gold medalist, a good buddy of mine, and he tells me all the time, man, that 400 meter, that's the race he keyed on to become a gold medalist because that's the one that got everybody else, but it did not get him. You are watching your Locked On Heat postcast. Man, we are all over the place tonight. We're Locked On Sports Miami. We are Locked On Sports Daily. And we are Locked On NBA right now. So whichever one you're joining us from, really appreciate you being here tonight as we continue with your show. And again, you make this your first listen every day. We love it. Locked On Heat postcasts. And I want to thank you for that. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And of course, wherever you listen to any of those 3 podcasts, whether Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, all the way across the board with this. And I am just pumped to tell you that the Miami Heat exceeded expectations again. I get excited about these things. I've covered the Heat for years, all those playoff runs, a lot of terrific players. It seems to be a lot more fun when they're the underdogs. Like last year was probably the best ride out of all of them, if you want to tell the truth. And I don't know what you guys are thinking about that, but that's how I feel, right? Last year was probably the best ride out of all of them. And this year with no Jimmy Butler, just really no chance against the C's. Tatum didn't score. What was it? Jayson Tatum. I mean, this dude did not score until much later in the first quarter. His first points scored were at the 2-minute mark. His first field goal was at 118, but it didn't matter up to that point because Derrick White was killing the Heat. He had 16 points in the first quarter, 8 points in a 53-second span during a 16-2 Celtics run that literally put the game away in the first quarter. Tyler Herro had 9 points and 3 assists for Miami in the first quarter. He wouldn't score again till halfway through the third. Guess who was D'ing him up? Yeah, Derrick White. He had that game tonight, no doubt. And Tyler, continues to confound us, man. This dude will go off like he did in the first quarter. He's getting in the paint at will. He's finishing with floaters. He's dishing it off for threes. Alley-oop to Bam for the highlight of the game on a dunk. Hitting threes. And then he goes scoreless for a quarter and a half and turns the ball over 4 times. They keyed on him defensively. I just know that Tyler's not that dude. He's going to play in spurts, but to consistently give you what the greats give you, that's why they're the greats, and that's why he's not one. And if your shooting guard goes scoreless for a quarter and a half in any NBA game, yeah, you're not going to win that game. Pretty much not going to win that game. You pretty much have no shot if that's the case with your shooting guard. The Celtics had 4 threes, 4 offensive rebounds, and they were 9 of 10 from the line in the first quarter. And the only reason I bring up those numbers, I'm not overall too much of a stat guy, but when Stan Van Gundy said that on the telecast, shout out to Stan, my dude, former head coach of the Heat, and when he pointed that out, I mean, those 3 categories, and then you throw in the fast break points and the Heat's poor 3-point shooting, you are not going to win many NBA games. They were 21%, 2 for 9 from 3 in the first quarter, badly out-rebounded, and like I said, Tyler went away. Derrick White still killed it in the second quarter, ended up with 22 points at the half, the only Celtics player in double figures, as a matter of fact. The Heat were getting great shots. The Heat were getting great shots all night. They just couldn't hit anything. One thing that the Celtics do have to be worried about and concerned with right now is Kristaps Porzingis, their center. He injured his lower leg in the second quarter, limped off, looked to tweak his left ankle, and then was limping on his right leg. He's had calf problems with that leg as well at 7-3. The Heat just not shooting well, though. And at halftime, it was already a blowout. And, it wasn't going to get any better. It was 53-36. The Heat scored 12 points in the second quarter. That's their second 12-point quarter in this series at home. They had 12 points in the first quarter of game 3, 12 points in the second quarter of game 4. That is just not going to get it done. Derrick White went nuts again in the third, went crazy. I told you he finished with 38 in the game. Tyler Herro went scoreless until 7:45 the third quarter. That was almost two consecutive scoreless quarters, a quarter and a half plus for him. And, one silver lining for the Heat there, Bam Adebayo recorded, and he had a great game tonight, recorded a double-double, and that tied him with LeBron James on the Heat all-time playoff list. And Bam now has 9 straight 20-point games in the playoffs as well. But the Celtics win it 102-88. Derrick White, 38 points on an off night for Tatum and Brown, just kills the Heat again. And, it just is one of those things when you look at it for the Heat. They had no shot coming in. Game 2 definitely gave us a little bit of false hope, but that was definitely, something that we were looking at moving into this game. And we knew that the Heat had to shoot and continue to shoot the way they were shooting to have a shot to win games 3 and 4 at home, and they just couldn't do it. Are they dead yet? No. Could they win game 5? Maybe no. Porzingis gives them a better shot, but just not going to come back against this team down 3-1. You're watching your Locked On Heat postcast. Going to step aside for break number 1. Before we do, want to remind you that tonight's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side. It is a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. You're watching your Locked On Heat postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. The Heat 1 game away from elimination, 102-88. They lose to the Celtics in game 4 of the Eastern Conference opening playoff series. What has happened to the Miami Heat's shooting? Why are they so cold, especially from beyond the arc, even at home where they shoot well most of the time? I'll tell you why, or at least I'll espouse some theories of mine right here on your Locked On Heat postcast on the other side of the break, wherever you get your podcast with audio, and Locked On Sports Miami, Locked On Daily, or Locked On Sports Today, I should say, and Locked On NBA. It's only my second week here. I'm getting the hang of it. Show in and show out for you, and we will continue with your Locked On Heat postcast in just a minute on all of those network channels, YouTube channels, and more. I want to remind you that your Locked On Heat postcast is brought to you by the 2024 Nissan Rogue. It's perfect for city drives. It's also perfect for great escapes, like you might want to do if you're in Miami right now and just take a ride across Alligator Alley and clear your head. Being a Heat fan, I used to do that all the time. You also have class exclusive Google built in as your always updating assistant. It's calling on almost anything for you. Gone are the days of connecting your phone, Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play. All those are built right in the Google Play Store as well, into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect midsize crossover for your next adventure. Nissan's incredible lineup also includes the 2024 Nissan Armada. It feels like you're in an Armada with the Armada. It'll change what you expect from a full-size SUV. Picture a rugged 4x4 that can seat up to 8 in first-class luxury and style, tow bigger, and explore further in the 2024 Armada. Take the Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. Your Locked On Heat postcast is also brought to you by Monopoly Go. There it goes. Monopoly Go is, what a game, right? We just talked about Monopoly Go. Monopoly Go, you can team up with your friends for time tournaments. Of course, they have all the cities that you want to play on. You got everything from South Beach to the Vegas Strip to Camelot, all those properties that it's famous for, plus extra ones. You can buy the most famous buildings in the world. Keep your friends out of them. Take all your friends' cash. It has everything you need. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, or you can just beat your friends. And there's so much more to get. Unique stickers you can trade with a friend to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis to taunt your friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new, exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now, free on Google Play or the App Store, also the App Store. Game on with Monopoly Go. Oh, yeah, I'm dancing. Nobody's celebrating in Miami. Let's go to those clubs tonight. Hey, why not? It'll probably be half off, man. Everybody drowning their sorrows as the Heat lose again to the Celtics, 102-88. You're watching your Locked On Heat postcast with me, Jim Greasehopper. Call me Grease. You're on Locked On Sports Miami. You're on Locked On NBA. And you're on Locked On Sports Today, as well as Spotify, iHeart, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. You will find us there as well. Continuing on with the show, I told you I'd tell you a little bit more about why the Heat are so cold right now from downtown. And obviously, their shooting is just not good right now. Under 25% the last two games. They shot 53.5% in game 2 in Boston. How can a team be that hot and get that cold so quickly? Well, 3 days in between games, right? You go back home, different rims, you have shoot-arounds every day, practices, but truth is, man, that Celtics defense and the way that the Celtics rebound the ball. When the Celtics are on whichever side of the ball they're on, but especially when they're on defense, they're number 2 in the league on defense. They're making you work super hard for everything. Miami was getting good looks, but they're all contested. There's always a closeout coming full speed. There's always an extra body. And the Celtics do a wonderful job of getting a body on everybody on the glass. It's a lost art fundamentally. It's something, and Porzingis, by the way, stop dribbling in the post when you're 7'3". Kids are watching. You should be ashamed of yourself. But when I think about the Miami Heat trying to get into a rhythm offensively shooting, with the Celtics playing defense the way they do, with the Celtics getting bodies on everyone all the time when the ball's up in the air and off the glass, and that adds up. You get beat up a little bit. You know you're going to get hit. Little jabs and little nicks and little elbows here all the time with Boston. The closeouts are there. The hands are in your face. They're very aggressive defensively. You have to protect the ball at all times. They're great at help defense and stripping you. So all those things, as you're thinking about that shot, they're not on your mind necessarily, but they're there. They're always in the back of it, even subconsciously. And you have to think about these things. And you get those looks. I mean, the Heat just kept firing away, and that's what you want them to do. You're getting the looks. They're just not going down. Even the open shots. And a big part of this, Kenny Smith illustrated on TNT at halftime, a big part of it is that a lot of the uncontested threes are 5 feet behind the line. And I don't see Steph Curry or Klay Thompson in a Heat uniform, right? Or Dame Lillard for that matter. So when you're shooting your open threes from 5 feet behind the line and everything in closer than that is contested, even the drives, the dunks, Bam Adebayo played in the post by Drew Holiday, a point guard, and held his own. Got a couple of stops against Bam in there. So they switch amazingly well. They play the pick and roll incredibly, and there's always a hand in your face near the ball. You're always getting hit. They're always getting a body on you on the glass, deflecting, steals. It's very tough to play against this Boston Celtics defense. They have incredible speed on the perimeter. Even without Marcus Smart, they got Drew Holiday, though. Their perimeter defense with Holiday and White, Derrick White is an elite defender. Those two can lock down just about any backcourt, or at least beat them, at least play them to a stalemate, no matter who they are. And then you got Tatum and Brown, going to work at the forward positions, and Porzingis shooting threes at center if he's healthy. So good luck beating this team. Them and the Nuggets, what a matchup, though, with Jokic and Porzingis. And then you have, obviously, the other guys and Tatum and Brown. And, the Nuggets have Murray and Gordon and Porter and all those guys. And, what a matchup that would be. Getting way ahead of myself. And this is a Heat show. But without Jimmy Butler again, and looking ahead to next year, we'll do that again at the end of the year. But when you think about Miami for the future, and Jimmy's contract has one more year on it, what are you going to do moving forward? How many runs does this team have left? What are they going to do with the contracts? And that's something that I really am excited about. Bam's just going to keep getting better. 9th straight 20-point or more playoff game tonight. He's going to play on Team USA this summer with Tatum and Holiday in the Olympics, and that's going to be amazing in Paris, and he's going to get better and better. That confidence is going to continue to soar. So I think this Heat team, if Tyler Herro can ever turn that corner and become an elite 2 guard, if he can ever become an elite 2 guard, at times he looks like it. At times he looks like one of the best in the league. At times he looks top 10. At times he looks top 10. He's never going to be higher than that. At times he's top 10. At times he's bottom 2 or 3. And that was the second and third quarters tonight. Turning the ball over, missing everything he took, just looking listless out there, getting worked, crushed on the defensive end. And, Tyler Herro's got to be better than that. And he knows that. Everybody knows that. But again, when Butler goes out, then the Celtics can just play everybody one-on-one. Or if anyone gets hot, they can just double them, collapse on them without worrying about Jimmy Butler and having to double him. That's what is the biggest key to the Celtics stopping the Heat three-point shooting right now. Without Jimmy Butler's penetration, without those extra possessions he gives you, without his leadership and generalship and the way that he gets you into the offense out there on that floor, calms down the younger players on the team. and is that steadying presence all the way across the board. Without that, man, they are in trouble. And it's just been showing. It's just been showing when those Celtics players can play one-on-one, when they can double the hot shooters, they have almost no chance. When other guys can shoot open shots, when Jimmy Butler's there, that makes a big difference, right? But when he's not, they're not, meaning the open shots. And yeah, that's pretty much what you get for the Miami Heat. You're watching your Miami Heat postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. 102-88. The Celtics blast the Heat out of Kaseya Center tonight and go to one game away from clinching this opening round Eastern Conference playoff series as the 1 seed. Heat got there through the play-in, of course, lost to the Sixers, beat the Bulls. And now they're on the brink of being eliminated by Boston. 3-1 in the series, 102-88 on the scoreboard. When we finish up the show on the other side of the break, I'll let you know what to expect in Game 5 in Boston on Wednesday. And you are watching your Locked On Heat postcast. By the way, if you're watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and you have to turn it down because everybody's screaming all the time, make the switch to Locked On Sports Today. We're live on Locked On Sports Today right now. For those of you already here, throw something in the comments. Let everybody know what they are missing. Locked On Sports Today. Make the switch. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And I am pumped to be on Locked On Sports Today for the second time. Locked On Sports NBA, as well as Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you listen to your podcast. The Heat lose 102-88 to the Boston Celtics. They're one game away from being eliminated from the playoffs this year. And you are a couple of weeks away, not even now, right, from Mother's Day. And I don't know where are you? Come on. There you go. It's taken twice tonight to do those overlays, but you're how many days away from Mother's Day? What's today? Is it the 29th? You're 13, a little less than 2 weeks away from Mother's Day, and you can't mess that one up. This is the woman who carried you in her body for 9 months. This is the woman who changed your diapers and wiped your snot. This is the woman who raised you, fed you, clothed you every day of your childhood and still loves you to death to this day. So what are you going to do with your mom, right? You're going to get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. That's right. DoorDash is giving you, and therefore your mom, a lot of reasons to be happy here on Mother's Day. 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now on DoorDash. Incorporate the unbelievable site and the app into your Mother's Day with mom, and make sure she has the most incredible day ever. It's never too late to show her your love this Mother's Day with DoorDash. And again, the flowers, the self-care, the gadgets, anything you want to get mom. So do it now. Get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place. Get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONNBA. Excuse me. That's code LOCKEDONNBA. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. I got excited there, man. I was thinking about what I'm going to order my mom. I'm not going to, go too crazy on Mother's Day. I don't want to spoil her too much. I'm just kidding. But you got to get your mom something nice on Mother's Day. Do it from DoorDash. It's convenient. You can send it as a gift. You don't even have to order it to your own house and then bring it to her. You can send it to her directly. Mom opens the door. It's a big surprise and a big old smile for the woman who brought you in to this world. And there we have it. I don't know if you could see it on my end, but the overlay kept going in and out. I don't know what's going on with the tech side, but we're okay here. It's Locked On Heat postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Locked On Sports Miami, Locked On NBA, and Locked On Sports Today. We're live on all those right now, plus wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, you know what I'm saying, iHeart, Apple Music, all the big boys right here. And, of course, you got Locked On Sports Today, which is streaming on the Amazon app as well, Amazon Fire app. And so I'm pumped about that as well, to be with you all the way around the world tonight. You see it behind me, Heat on the brink, Erik Spoelstra looking on, Jimmy Butler in street clothes, and it's been that kind of series for Miami. Even Spo can't reach that deep into the bag of tricks and pull something out that may work here to get the job done for Miami. But I did tell you what you can expect to see in Game 5 on Wednesday night in Beantown. You can expect to see a bunch of obnoxious green-clad Boston. You know what I'm saying? You can expect to see a bunch of obnoxious green-clad little leprechauns running around TD Garden, and they do get obnoxious in Boston when their teams are winning, and their teams win a lot. So you can expect that. But all kidding aside, right? And Heat fans hate that. But all kidding aside, what you can expect to see is more of the same from the Heat. It's going to come down to one thing. You're going to get the same effort, which is balls to the wall from the time the tip is thrown up in the air by the ref. You're going to get max effort. You're going to get max focus. You're going to get Spo pulling the strings. You're going to get the Miami Heat doing what they do game in and game out. You're going to get that. You're not going to lose that. It just comes down to the three-point shooting. They're not going to be able to beat Boston on the glass right now with their size disadvantage. You're not going to win fast break points right now against that team. I know it sounds negative. They're getting the line a lot more than you are, and a lot of that's considered to be effort, but stars get calls, and the Heat don't have a star right now, and they're not getting any calls. They didn't even go to the line in the first quarter. So you're not going to get those calls now, especially on the road. The only thing you can do is shoot the lights out again. Hope Porzingis doesn't play, shoot the lights out again, and maybe bring it back to Miami for a Game 6, and you never know from there. And they did have a 3-1 lead last year. The Celtics almost came back. So anything can happen in a series like this. But usually over the course of a 7-game series in the NBA, 90% of the time, the better team wins. The deeper team wins. The healthier team wins. It's a battle of attrition more than it is, you get a 1 game, anything can happen. Even a 3-game series like they used to have in the first round, like the Lakers lost twice to the Houston Rockets under that format in the 80s. In 82 and 86, both years the Celtics beat the Rockets for the title. So it's a long time ago, but it holds true in this day and age. It's that 1-game scenario, anything can happen. But in a 7-gamer, usually the better team wins, almost always. And also, if you're the Celtics, think about this. If you're Jayson Tatum and you want to be the best player in the league, you want to be the face of the NBA, you go out and you drop 40 or 50 in this game and bury the Heat, put your foot on the throat. That's Jordan-esque. That's Kobe-esque. That's LeBron-esque. That's whatever-esque you want it to be. If you're a fan of Jayson Tatum, it's Bird-esque for that matter. It's Paul Pierce-esque, KG-esque. Those guys had their biggest games when they mattered the most, and that's what Tatum needs to do. But for the Heat, come out the same effort, the same energy, the same focus. Just play balls to the wall from the start, force turnovers, do whatever you can, and bring that shooting touch. Hopefully going back into that building will reinvigorate Miami's offense, and they will get to shooting the way that we know them to shoot those threes. And hopefully they can figure out new ways to get open looks, because those open looks are from too far out right now, and everything else inside of that is contested. So I'm not feeling too optimistic about this game. Obviously, who wouldn't? They're going to be a double-digit underdog against the Celtics, who are going to be out for blood, smelling it from the tip. And, when you're a great team and you smell blood, that's a hunting dog right there. I mean, when you're a Rottie or a Doberman or a German Shepherd or any of those kinds of dogs and you smell blood, you chomp that throat out and you crush that blood flow and the oxygen supply in one shot, and they're gone. No life support can save them. That's what you do if you're the Celtics. But if you're the Heat, you just let it loose. You do whatever you can, understanding that whatever happens at this point, and there's nothing you can do about it without Jimmy Butler. Doesn't mean they're not going to show up and play hard. Doesn't mean anything else other than, that's exactly what you're going to get. And I'm trying to find anything else for you that I can throw your way in the last minute of the show here to get you ready for Game 5. But I've pretty much done all that already, and that it's going to come down to the shooting for Miami. And that's really all it's going to do. That's all it's going to do. Derrick White probably not going to play like that again. Brown and Tatum probably going to have better games than they did today. Bam Adebayo, another 20-point playoff game, 25 points and 13 rebounds for Bam tonight. I love that dude, and who doesn't, right? But tough loss for the Heat tonight, to say the least. 102-88. They're a game away from elimination in the opening round playoffs of the Eastern Conference in the NBA against the number 1 seed Boston Celtics. We'll be here right after that game with your Locked On Heat postcast. Hopefully not the final one of the season. And if it is, hopefully Locked On NBA will have me on more and Locked On Sports today. But we will see. Not just a Heat guy. But you know what? It's been a lot of fun doing this for the brief time that we've been doing it so far. Again, after every Heat game, after every Marlins game, Dolphins and Canes football too, and pigskin season. Not that they like football in South Florida or anything like that, do we? No, not at all. Anyway, that's going to do it tonight. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Thanking you for being here with me tonight for your Locked On Heat postcast, and reminding you, as always, Miami Heat fans, to keep your game tight and your mind right. 102-88, the Celtics win. On the way out, I want to remind you one more time about Locked On Sports' brand new national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Not DirecTV that I was watching the game on, but it's on YouTube and now also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today. That's Locked On Sports Today. Is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. That's all there is, Heat fans. There is no more. My name's Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. We'll talk to you Wednesday night, Miami. I'm out.